Have you ever wanted to make your own baits? Today I'm going to show you how and what you need to do it. Hey everybody, I'm John Reffin and welcome back to the shop. Today I thought I'd talk about making your own baits. Have you ever thought about doing it? Well, I'm going to show you some of the expense and some of what it takes to do it. So we'll start with the plastisol. You can buy it in gallon jugs, or you can get it in 5-gallon jugs, whatever you want. How much you decide to make be up to you. I wrote down some numbers on what it costs, and I use bait plastics a lot of times. There's different formulas. This is a medium plastisol. It's ultra clear, low odor. You really don't want to breathe this stuff when you cook it. But a gallon of this stuff is $46.98. Now, bait plastics has a lot of free shipping. Of course, now maybe you get a little bit cheaper. I think their Black Friday stuff is $34.99 right now. The 5-gallon bucket was about $144 right now normally. I'm sorry, $144 normally, and about $109.99 right now on sale. You can get sample kits of this stuff. You'll get some soft, some medium, and maybe another version of it. I'd have to look it back up to be for sure, but you can check out baitplastics.com and check out what comes with that kit. And it's roughly around 30 bucks. And also another place that has as well is Dead On Plastics. They have a lot of different formulas, kind of like the soft, the hard, the medium, all the in-betweens. They're a little bit cheaper, but roughly they're all around the same price. Got to figure in shipping and all this as well. You can mix and match with bait plastics if you want to get like 5 1-gallon jugs. Get a gallon or two of soft, a gallon or two of medium, and whatever else you want to get. But you can mix and match that as well. About 160 bucks. When you have to mix this stuff. As you can see right now, it's separated. Once it sits, it'll separate in here. That's a mistake right there. Don't pay attention to that. But you want to mix it for 3, 4, 5 minutes. I do 5 minutes on the 5-gallon jug, about 3 or so on the gallons, and you don't want to shake it because you're going to introduce bubbles into it, and that's going to get a whole mess, and you'll have bubbles in your baits and all that sort of stuff. So I use like a paint can mixer on this one, that's what you see. The end came off right there. But on the 5-gallon, it's just one of those drywall mud mixers. Put it on a drill, mix it right up. So, and here's what it looks like when it's mixed and ready to cook. You have to cook this stuff to 350 degrees minimum to turn it into the plastic for the baits. So, and a few things that you're going to need. Let me get this out of the way. You're going to need some molds. I got a few prices on those for you as well. This one is Angling AI, which I like those molds quite a bit, but they have them. I think even Bait Plastics may have a couple. And BTS molds, Fat Guys Fishing, Bass Tackle, to name a few. They're not cheap. These are all CNC machined aluminum molds. You buy one, it's going to last forever. I don't think you could wear it out unless you just actually damage the mold. This one's called a knuckle dragger, which makes a bait that looks like this. Kind of a beaver style bait. You know, there's a lot of these out on the markets. The legs will, flap as you come back through. But then you got another version. It's called the Stinger. There's 2 different sizes of these. This is the bigger one. These are all Angling AI, by the way. I have a few others, but not too awful many. But the little version of this one for 3 cavities about $129. The knuckle dragger, the first one I showed you, 3 cavities about $164. The more cavities you get, of course, the more expensive it gets. Here's one everybody's going to like. That's into live scope if you don't hate it. They call this one the Pinpoint, but it looks a whole lot like some other things you've seen out there on the market, but it works well. I've caught quite a few fish on those. this is what it produces. You can make a bait like that. You can see that pretty well. It's a laminate bait. So, and there's, as you can see, there's quite a few different. I've accumulated these over a few years. If you like doing that sort of thing, you know, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Any color you can dream up from all of this back here, whatever color flake, whether you want it transparent, you want it opaque, you can do it. Talk about the dyes and the pigments. Now, there's two different things. This green pumpkin, this is a pigment, and it's going to be more opaque, more thick if you want to call it that way, non-see-through. The dyes, on the other hand, they're pretty translucent. This is a color by MF Manufacturing, Dark Watermelon. It's a good color, kind of a goldish, greenish look to it. And most of these will bleed. Anything that has red in it, a lot of times will bleed. But you want to make sure, as you order them, they'll tell you on the description whether to bleed or not. This happens to be a non-bleed red. I still wouldn't trust it. They tend to bleed. As you see, these are Lure Works. That's one of the makers. Just an orange. That's generally, that won't bleed. Now here's one that will. Cherry red dye, which is really good. You can turn out with stuff like this, but like I said, it will bleed. So I'd keep it in a separate package all by itself. Don't get it next to your other baits, because it will bleed. And here's the example of one that bled. That's supposed to be a pearl bottom. As you can see, that top bled into it, turned the whole thing kind of green. So it's a mistake. Trash him. And the different flakes. This happens to be, let's see, on your sizes, you got 0.015, 0.40, 0.62, and there's other different versions, but the that is really, really small. Doesn't take a whole lot to get the effect you're looking for. 0.40, if you can kind of see how it's a little bit bigger on those. That's straight black. I think I have some 6.2 here. These are pretty good sized flake. You can see on the end of my finger. But it takes quite a few of those. You'll notice those a lot. And there's even, it's a string glitter. It's in the silver. You can see on the end of that, it's kind of stringy. It gives you a little different look. But there's all the colors of the rainbow up here. Whatever kind of colors you want. Some of the prices on the colorants. A 2 ounce is $4.90. Now these are all Lure Works prices. I didn't look them all up. 2 ounce, 4 ounce size, about $7.40. This is a pint, which is about $13.75. That's the biggest size that I have. You can get quarts, $25.75. A gallon's like $83, whatever you want to do. You know, a lot of people like green pumpkin, favorite color. You might want to get a gallon of that if that's all you like to use. But like I said, you can make anything you want. Covered the plastisol. Okay, some of the molds, covered those. And other things that you will need, you're going to need an injector. This is like a 6 ounce type injector. Put it in the cup, pull it up, back into the top of the mold, shoot it in. And they also make a dual injector where you can do the 2 colors, like that. And you also need, it's a blending block. It goes onto the bottom of it. That goes into the top of the mold. Allows you to shoot the 2 different colors at the same time. I like that a lot. So the dual injectors, they get a little pricey. About $199 they've went up to now. They even make a triple. Be 3 of these. I don't have one of those, but you're looking at about $349. The single injectors, $74. And bait plastics, you can buy them. Angling AI, you can buy them. Do It Molds has some, and even Bass Tackle has a few. I believe this one is a bass tackle here. Then they come in different sizes, even a single. That's like a 10. I believe this one was a 6 ounce. Get that down there. Some measuring cups. You're going to do small amounts, maybe a 1 cup or 2. You know, these are Walmart Anchor Hocking brand. They're pretty cheap. And also something to measure out your flake width. These type of little spoons work really well. Talking about the bleeding. This was that dark watermelon collar, but it set on top of this collar, and you can kind of see what it did to it here, just sitting on top of it. So that's what you got to watch out for. If you get that anything with red in it, it's going to bleed. I recommend not putting it against another bait, or it's going to change the color on you. Some other things you're going to need: some gloves. Because like I say, you're heating this stuff up to 350 degrees. Safety glasses. You definitely do not want this stuff as you're mixing it. If you happen to slop it up and it hits your eye, bad day. I've burnt my fingers. I've burnt everything. I'd wear, you know, older clothes, because you get that pigment on them, it's going to stain them. No open-toed shoes. I guarantee you're going to dribble some as you're doing this. Something to stir it with. Regular butter knife, or Bait Plastics does make these, and anything you want to stir it with. Okay, so we've got that heated. I think it's probably been about 5 minutes. I had a little camera faux pas there, so let's pull this sucker out, see where it gets us. Now you see it changed quite a bit. It was milk looking. Now after about 5 minutes, it's getting really stringy. So we're getting close. But you still want to stir, because down on the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, there's still a little bit of white in there. That's uncooked plastic. So you want to give it a good stir. Don't stir it real fast, especially in the summertime. You're going to get a lot of bubbles from the humidity out of this, but they will come out. There's another way to get those out. You can use a heat gun, blow onto it. Also, you're going to need a temp gun, because like I say, you want to heat this up to 350. So get a gun stirred up, see where you're at. 335, so we're need about another 15 degrees or so, and we'll be there. So let's pop it back in for about another 2 minutes, see where that gets us. Okay, so it's almost done here. A few more seconds. I think we're just about there. See, it's got quite a few bubbles on it. But like I say, those will come out. Give it another good stir here. I don't see any white down on the bottom, so it looks a little cloudy, but you see it on the table there. It's clear as a bell. Get that fan going. See where we're at temperature wise. Well, we got that a little hot, 415, so I guarantee that's good to go. So what you want to do next, we're going to do some green pumpkin. So, and this stuff is oil based, so you really got to shake it good. I shook it up before we started, but give it a good shake, because it will separate, kind of like the plastisol did as well. Now you can count drops, just depending on what you want, whether you want a green pumpkin that's a little more see-through, or say a green pumpkin that's pretty opaque, which I kind of like that as well. But I don't generally do drops unless I'm trying to really fine-tune something. But as far as green pumpkin goes, we'll just give it a good squirt. Just see where that brings it to. Yeah, I can tell we don't quite have enough, but dribble some out on the table, pull your knife up. It's pretty translucent right there. Then we'll add some more. And like I say, you can add as much as you like or as little as you like, but if you're trying to get a certain transparency or opaqueness, you can't take it back out once you put it in. You kind of got to start over. So you can see that right there. It's a little bit translucent for my taste, but you kind of look in the cup and get kind of an idea too on a thicker type bait like the knuckle dragger here. This might be, the legs may be translucent to where the body is opaque, where you can't see through it. So I'm going to add just a little more. Get that stirred up. Try not to be, as you can see, most of those bubbles are already gone. A couple left in there, but not very many. So, yep, I kind of like that right there. You can see the difference in the two. So now, whatever flake you want to put, I'm just going to do something pretty basic. Just put some black flake in there. Start with that. Just kind of watch, because I have put too much in it before it turns into a mess, but kind of gives it a little different look. You see on the knife there. I think that might work. On the table, yeah, I kind of like that. Now, you don't want to shoot this at 400 and some degrees. Let's see what we're at. 374. We need to let that cool a little. While that's cooling, we can kind of set up our mold here. Let's do one of the big stingers and 5-inch Senko. So we're only shooting one color, so we don't need that blending block, but we will use the bigger injector. Should be able to get both of them. I do recommend putting a little bit of worm oil on these to get it, because they do dry out a little bit. So that's, if you've ever pulled baits out of the package and they feel like somebody's just poured oil on them, that's what it is right there. But it's also a good lubricant for these injectors. A few drops down in is all you need. Work it back and forth a little bit. So we got that ready to go. See where we're at on our temperature here. Yeah, it was a 371, so these, I like to shoot these around high 320s, low 330s maybe, because you will get some denting sometimes on some of these thicker baits as they cool, and these molds are cold, so they're going to cure pretty quick. You may not be able to see that right there. See that little bit of a dent. Some people don't care. I mean, if you're using them for yourself, the fish surely don't care. So, you know, but if you shoot them a little lower temperatures, you tend not to get that. Now here's a version of the 5-inch Senko, which we're going to shoot here. And this one was the big stinger, which will be this. And then there's another little crawl mold, which done really well on these. Those work well. And as you can see, two different sizes in the stingers here. So we'll be shooting this, which is about the same size as the big stinger. I believe roughly 4-inch, 3 1/4. And then another one of my favorites is I just call them trick worms. Same thing, just a straight tail worm. But any kind of color. And there's also hand pour molds, which look like this. And you can end up getting these. I'll do a video on that. I'm not real good with this. You can pour the belly first. You can see that one's kind of clear, and that's just a little bit of holographic flake, blue flake. I'm sorry, silver flake, a little bit of blue flake, and some believe that's watermelon blue. So, but yeah, there's just so many different kinds of molds out there. Anything you want, if you search around far enough or long enough, you'll find them. Something similar to that. It's a good chatterbait trailer. Some other creature type molds here. It's a good little bait. A different size crawl. It's got a thicker body, a little bit bigger claws on it. Like a twin-tailed grub kind of deal. Good jig trailer. Smaller bait fish mold. They call these a tracer. You know, and like I said, any color you can dream up. This will bleed. So I'd keep these separate. And some brush hog kind of baits. Now, as your, let's check our temperature here and see where we're at. $355. We're getting there. You can stir the heat out of it. You can stand here and stir and stir and stir, and some of it will cool a little quicker. But as you make these, if this green pumpkin didn't turn out the way you want it, don't throw it away. You can reuse it. You can reheat this stuff. I take all of my scraps and I'll just put it in like a 4-cup deal. And as you can see down in there, there's all different kinds of stuff. And when sometimes you get some interesting colors out of it. This right here was one of them. All the scraps I just melted down. I kind of thought that was a little different. Put a little purple on the backside, made a laminate. But you know, here it is. So some turn out all black, some turn out all green. I mean, there's all different kinds of flakes, and maybe even some pearl powders and whatnot in there. But don't throw it away. I mean, right there's a whole box full. So you can use it over and over and over. Even the baits you buy out of the store, you can. You get a lot of, now I don't add a lot of salt, but you can add salt to them as well. Lure Works sells the salts. You can get it in a big jug, small bag, whatever you want. Let's see where we're at here now. But as you get around, browse on these sites, you'll see all the different kinds of things, the powders. This is an older one, but pearl white, good belly colors, some highlight colors. That's like a highlight green. Looks white, but as you put it in there, it turns kind of greenish. And just a whole wad of stuff you can get for that. But now's a good time of year if you feel like you want to do it. You know, you got all the Black Friday sale, Cyber Monday, and all that stuff going on. So you can get a few molds, some colorants, some glitter, the necessary tools for a pretty decent price. Maybe get some free shipping in there. That's always good too. And there's tail molds for, I think as you saw here on this chatterbait trailer, there's one of the tails. So you can make the body one color, tail another, even different tails for Senkos. So if you wanted to put an orange tail on that, you could. And for some of these as well, there's a whole different one. You just have to get on there and browse through them. We're just about there. All right, 323, we can do that. So get your glove on. You don't want to let this sit, or all your flakes are going to eventually sink to the bottom. So kind of get on it pretty quick. Pull it up into the injector. A little bit back out to burp it. And then just a smooth, steady pressure. And then once it stops, hold for about 10 seconds or so. Kind of got to watch. Now this will stick a lot of times. I kind of just do that number. It's going to cure pretty quick because these are cold molds. Stop, felt pretty good. Hold for about 10 seconds. Now as you're watching this one, as it cools, it's going to shrink. As you might be able to see it going down there. Bigger the mold, the more it's going to shrink, the more you'll need to top it off. So another little squirt here. Excess back in the cup. I kind of watch that. You can see it start to go down. You don't want it to go down in there too far, or your baits can suck air. So definitely don't want air in the baits. If you need some more, take your cup, fill it back up a little bit. This stuff peels right off the table, no problem. So whatever you spill, you can just peel it right back up. So we'll let that set a little bit, let it cool and harden up some. It won't take very long, and we'll come right back. Okay, it's been a few minutes and everything's cooled down a little bit. I believe they're ready to be pulled out of the mold. Like I say, all your excess, you can reheat it. I just put it back in the cup. A little stubborn. And there you have some of your 5-inch Senkos. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see it here, just a little bit of denting, but not enough to worry about, I don't think. Now you're ready for, and like to keep this back in the cup, we'll heat it up again. So, I mean, it's just that simple. You can get really crazy with the colors, or get real simple, just like a basic green pumpkin black flake, which is always a good color about anywhere you go. Get rid of the excess here. Get them to come out on the same side, so then there's you some big stingers. So those 4-inch stingers. So I like a lot of, I'll tell you a good color that I really like. It's green pumpkin brown. The brown I'll use this Scuppernong. It is a really nice brown. Or, and maybe add a little bit of actual brown pigment to it, something like this chocolate color. And you can darken or lighten it as much as you like, but that the green pumpkin brown seems to be really good. So there you have it. Just that easy. So there's really not much to it. I mean, there's a little bit of a money investment, but I mean, it's a fun hobby. If you may want to go big and try to make your own bait company. A lot of people do it. There's a lot of the guys online you'll see. A good one to watch, Angling AI. I'm sorry, World's Worst Fishing on YouTube. He's very good at it. He's really good at hand pouring, and he can show you. There's videos from just this little bit of stuff that we covered today to all the advanced as you want to get. So there you have it. You can see it's pretty simple to do. I'll do some more in the future, maybe some laminates and sort of things like that, show you what to do, maybe a little bit of hand pouring. Like I say, I'm not an expert at hand pouring. It can get pretty difficult. It can get pretty elaborate. If you watch World's Worst Fishing, you'll see some of the stuff he does. It's pretty amazing what he can do with the hand pouring. So if you want to do it, jump right in and do it. But it is some expense. You know, all of this stuff, and I gave you a few prices on some of that stuff. I recommend browsing those few places. Bait Plastics, where I get my plastic from. Angling AI for the molds. Injectors, they sell Plastisol. Dead on Plastics, same company. And they have some really good formulas of Plastisol as well. They all sell some colorants. They all sell some flake, pearl powders, all that other stuff. They have all that stuff on there. Now, Lure Works, in my opinion, very good. A lot of major companies will use them. Some make their own. Some are hard to match. You know how it is. Your favorite bait's out there on the shelf. You go back a few months later and they discontinued it. So if you have a few different colors, the mold you like, you can pretty much match that. So it's not that hard. It doesn't take a genius, and I'm because I am surely not. But I'm no expert on any of this. I just show you how I do it and what I like to do. So if you like what you see, like and subscribe. Shoot me a comment what you thought, like it or you don't like it, and if you want to see something else. We'll see you next time.